Welcome students, welcome to our channel Infinity Scholars Hub. Today in this lecture we are going to discuss about direct and inverse proportions. Direct and inverse proportion is chapter number 13 of class 8. So let's start our discussion. Okay, so first of all let's start with the introduction of direct and inverse proportion. See, we will first take examples from where you can recognize whether a particular given situation is a situation of direct or inverse proportion. Say for example, you go in the market to buy sugar. Okay, so the cost of 1 kg of sugar is 50 rupees. Okay, now if you buy 2 kg of sugar, you will have to pay 100 rupees. If you buy 3 kg of sugar, you will have to pay 150 rupees. If you buy 4 kg, you will have to pay 200 rupees. Okay, so likewise, as the quantity of sugar you buy increases, the price which you have to pay for that quantity also increases, right? If you see in the reverse manner, that means if you have to buy 4 kg, you will have to pay 200. If you have to buy 3 kg, you will have to pay 150. If you have to buy 2 kg, you will have to pay 100 rupees. So as the quantity of the sugar which you are buying decreases, the price of that quantity also decreases. Okay, so while one quantity increase, with that the other quantity also increase, or vice versa. That is, if the first quantity decrease, with that the other quantity also decrease, then such a situation is called direct variation. Okay, now see, in direct variation, okay, so let me write that down. So first is quantity of sugar. Okay, quantity of sugar, and then you have the price of sugar. Okay, now let us this is basically in, let's say, kgs. Yeah, it is definitely in kgs, and this is in rupees. All right, so what do? We assume this quantity to be x, okay, and we assume this quantity to be y. So when you were buying 1 kg, you had to pay 50 rupees. Okay, when you were buying 2 kg, you were paying 100 rupees. When you were buying 3 kgs, you were paying 150 rupees. And when you bought 4 kg, you paid 200 rupees. Okay, so let the first quantity of sugar be x1, x2, x3, x4. Okay, and let this quantity be y1. Since rupees we have considered the variable y, we will write rupees as y1. Corresponding to x2 we will write y2, corresponding to x3 we will write y3, corresponding to x4 we will write y4. Okay, now see, when I say that the two quantities are in direct proportion, the meaning of that is x is directly proportional to y. Okay, that means as x increase, y will also increase, and if x decrease, y will also decrease. All right, now if you wish to remove this proportionality sign and you want to replace it with equal to sign, then you need to multiply this y with a constant which is called k. So I can write this as x equals to k into y. Okay, and I can write this as k is equals to x upon y. So whenever we are finding out the direct variation, what we will calculate? We will always calculate the ratio of the two quantities. So over here, as you can see, x upon y. So we have found out the ratio of x to the quantity y. So the same way, from this we conclude that x1 upon y1 equals to x2 upon y2 equals to x3 upon y3, and it goes on, and this will be equal to your k, which is constant. Okay, that means if you find out the ratio of x1 upon y1, or if you find out the ratio of x2 upon y2, or if you find out the ratio of x3 upon y4, you are going to get a same constant value. Let's check out. So if I do x1 upon y1, this will give me 1 by 50. If I do x2 upon y2, that will be 2 upon 100. This is again 1 by 50. Then if you do x3 upon y3, you will get 3 by 150. So this will again give you 1 by 50. And if you do x4 by y4, this will be again 4 upon 200. So this will again be equal to 1 by 50. Now see, the value of x1 upon y1, the value of x2 upon y2, the value of x3 upon y3, and the value of x4 upon y4. Okay, so whenever two quantities are in direct proportion, then the ratio of the two quantities will always be equal to a constant, and that is why we have written k is equals to x upon y. And for direct proportion, you can remember this condition and you can apply in your sums. Okay, we will see how this can be applied in the sums. So let's go on the next slide for that. Okay, now this is the sum given to you, that the cost of 5 meters of cloth is 210 rupees, right? So over here they have given the cost of 5 meter of cloth. So this is what basically cloth, right? So you will write cloth and it is in meters, so in meters. Okay, then is 210 rupees, so this is rupees. So this is what, this is your price in rupees. So price, that is in rupees. All right, now see, you have considered your cloth in meters, that is x. So this will be x1, this will be x2, this will be x3, this will be x4, this will be x5. Okay, and this will be y1, y2, y3, y4 and y5. Okay, now see, you are given the value of x3 and y3. If we find out the value of x3 upon y3, we will come to know the constant, right? And this is a case of direct proportion, or you can say direct variation. How can you identify that? Because see, as the cloth in meter increases, the price of the cloth will definitely increase, right? If you say, for example, if you buy 2 meters, it is costing you 50. So if you buy 4 meters, it will cost you 100. So as you are buying a longer cloth, the more you have to pay, right? So as there is increase in the length of cloth, the price of cloth is also increasing. So clearly you can see this is an example of direct proportion. Now see, x3 upon y3, both these values are given. So you can find out the constant of this particular sum. So x3 upon y3 equals to, it is what, 5 by 210. So if I cancel out the common factor, it will be 5 ones are 5 and 5 fours are 20 and 1, so 5 twos are 10. So you will get 1 by 42. Okay, now you know one thing, that if I find out the factor of x1 upon y1, or if I find out the factor of if I find out the ratio of x1 upon y1, or if I find out the ratio of x2 upon y2, or x4 upon y4, or x5 upon y5, I am going to get the same constant, which is 1 by 42, right? So what will I do? In order to find y1, what will I do? Let me just erase this. So I will write x1 upon y1 equals to 1 by 42, right? This is what we got by solving x3 upon y3. So our k is what? 1 by 42. Okay, that means x1 is what? 2. So in place of x1 I will write 2, below that y1 equals to 1 by 42, and I will cross multiply, right? Because when you have two rational numbers, one on either side, okay, in that condition, in that situation, we cross multiply. So 42 into 2 will give me 84 equals to y1 into 1 will give me y1. So therefore my y1 is equals to 84 rupees. Okay, that means if I buy 2 meters cloth, it is going to cost me 84 rupees. Okay, now I guess for this x2 and y2 you will do the same thing, right? So let's do that. So again over here, if I find out the ratio of x2 upon y2, it is going to be 1 upon 42 only. Okay, so x2 is 4, so I'll replace x2 with 4 upon y2 equals to 1 upon 42. Now you will cross multiply. So 42 into 4 is 168 equals to y2 into 1 is y2. So this will be equal to 168 rupees. Okay, so over here I should write 168. Okay, now let's directly see the last column where you have to find out x5. y5 is given to us and we have to find out x5. So again the same condition, we know that x5 upon y5 is going to be equal to 1 upon 42. So x5 upon y5 is equals to 1 by 42, right? Now in this case we do not know x5, so I will keep x5 as it is upon y5 is 546. So I'll write 546 equals to 1 into 42. Now in this case what will I do? See, if I keep my variable over here only, this is my variable because I do not know the value of x5, so that happens to be my variable. So I will send only 546 on the other side, right? Because while solving an equation, we always keep the variable alone on the left hand side and rest everything should be on the other side. So I will send 546 on that side. So x5 will be equal to 546 divided by 42. So I guess let's divide it with 6. It will go with 6. So 6 7s is 42 and 6 9s is 54 and 6 1s is 6. Okay, and this will be 7 1s are 7, 7 1s are 7, 2 will be remaining. So 7 3s are 21. So it will be 13. So if I buy 13 meter of cloth, so this is equals to 13 meter. So if I buy 13 meter of cloth, I will have to pay 546 rupees. So in order to find out direct proportion, always remember the ratio of two quantities is equals to the constant. Okay, and if you want to find out the constant, then pick up those values of x and y where their values are given. So first I picked up this column because the value of x3 and y3 was given. So always make a table like this and then solve the sums on direct variation and inverse variation, that is direct proportion and inverse proportion. Okay, now let's discuss about inverse proportion. So when I talk about inverse proportion, let's discuss the situation where we see inverse proportion. See, let's say if you have to travel a distance of say like a fixed distance you have to travel. Okay, say from Delhi to Mumbai you have to travel. So it may take, or let me take a closer distance. Let's say if you have to travel from Mumbai to Pune. Okay, so if you drive at a speed of 70 kilometers per hour, it will take around 3 hours. Okay, if you travel at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour, it will take 2 hours. Okay, so you can see over here, for a fixed distance, if the speed is increasing, the time required is decreasing, right? So in the first condition, what we were doing, that we were traveling at the speed of 80 kilometers per hour. So this is speed. Okay, and below that you have time. So when I was traveling at this speed, it took me only 3 hours. Okay, and when I was driving at the speed of 120, it took only 2 hours. So from 80 to 120, this is increase, right? And from 3 to 2, this is clearly, you can see that this has decreased. Okay, and over here this has increased. So such a situation where with the increase in one quantity, the other quantity decreases is an example of inverse variation. Okay, and when two quantities are in inverse variation, we write that condition in this way: x is inversely proportional to y. Okay, in order to make the two both sides equal, we need to put an equal to sign and we need to multiply a constant over here. So k multiplied by 1 upon y. Okay, so if you want to write this equation for k, so what will you do? You will send this y on the other side. So you will get your k equals to x into y. Okay, now if there are too many observations given, like you have a good data of speed and time, say you have 4-5 observations over here, so this will become like this: x1 into y1 will be equal to x2 into y2 will be equal to x3 into y3, this will be equal to x4 into y4, and so on will be equal to k, which is your constant. So for inverse proportion, you should always remember this condition. Okay, you have to multiply the two quantities, which will give you the constant, which will give you the value equal to the constant. Okay, so considering this particular you can say equation, we will apply it to a sum of inverse proportion. So let's see a sum on inverse proportion. Okay, now see, it is given the volume of a gas V varies inversely. So they have directly given over here that the volume is varying inversely as the pressure P for a given mass of a gas. Okay, so your one quantity is volume, so I will denote this with x and I will denote this with y. Okay, so this all are your x, so this becomes your x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7. Okay, and this data becomes y1, y2, y3, y4, y5, y6, y7. Okay, now look for the column in which the value of x as well as y is given. So if you look properly, x3 and y3 are given. Okay, so for the, and you know that this is a case of inverse proportion. So in inverse proportion, the product of the two quantities is equals to the constant. So x3 into y3 will be equal to the constant k. What is your x3? It is 60 multiplied by, what is your y3? It is 3 upon 2. Okay, multiplied by the constant. Sorry, this is equal to the constant, not multiplied by. So 2 1s are and 2 30s are. So 3 into 30 gives you 90. So your constant is what? Your constant is 90. That means whenever you multiply the two quantities given over here, that will definitely be equal to 90, because they have told you that it is already in inverse variation. So when I do x1 into, let me just erase, okay, I will write over here. When I multiply x1 into y1, this will be equal to 90. Okay, this should be equal to 90. So x1 is not given to us, so I will write x1 as it is, multiplied by y1 is given to me, so I will write 2 equals to 90. So your x1 equals to 90 by 2, this will give me 45. Okay, and the unit is centimeter cube. Okay, so this will be centimeter cube. So over here it should be 45. Okay, taking the next values, let me just erase this. Okay, now okay, so let's find out this value, x7 upon y7. Since we know that our k is equals to what? Our k is equals to 90, right? So when I multiply x7 into y7, x7 into y7, that should be equal to 90, right? So x7 given to me is 200. So I will replace this x7 with 200 multiplied by y7 equals to 90. So my y7 will be equal to 90 divided by 200. So 0 0 gets cancelled out. So this is 9 upon 20. So my answer over here is 9 upon 20. Since there are no common factors, I will have to keep this 9 upon 20 as it is, and the unit over here will be atmosphere, because the unit they have given is atmosphere. So it will be atmosphere. Okay, so this is how inverse variation is done. This is quite an easy topic, and I hope you all have understood whatever we have discussed over here. So if you like this video, if you got to learn something from this video, just like it and just subscribe to our channel to get new videos. And if you want me to make some video on some other topic, that also you can suggest me in the comments. Thank you.